All of us make split-second decisions that sometimes come back to haunt us, and this can be devastating for a celebrity. Because they live in the public eye and under intense scrutiny, their mistakes can be potentially controversial or even career-ending. While some disgraced stars manage to climb their way back, most find it hard to find work, and they end up disappearing from public life, with whatever dignity remains. So here are some celebrities that have completely destroyed their career in the blink of an eye. Armie Hammer made a big impact in major movies like The Social Network and Clint Eastwood's J. Edgar, before headlining his own movies, The Lone Ranger, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and Call Me By Your Name. In 2021, about 6 months after his wife filed for divorce, a woman came forward on Instagram and claimed to have had a 4-year-long affair with him, during which she says he sent her graphic and violent texts. They depicted the actor's fantasies, which included cannibalism, vampirism, and even assault. More women followed with similar stories about him. Within weeks, his agency cut ties with the actor, and he was fired and lost all of the roles in which he had already been cast. By 2022, the year his last completed project to date, Death on the Nile, hit theaters, he was working as a timeshare salesperson in the Cayman Islands. Kathy Griffin is best known as a comedian and an actress. She has been on shows like Suddenly Susan, The Fashion Police, and Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D-List. Controversy has always helped make Griffin more famous, but then she went too far with a political stunt that backfired. Depending on who you ask, it was either a poorly presented joke or a violent threat to the sitting president. In May 2017, she posted a picture of herself holding a blood-soaked Donald Trump mask. According to her, she was mocking Trump's remarks about reporter Megyn Kelly. The FBI even investigated her because of the stunt. Griffin would go on to apologize, saying the joke went too far, but the damage was done. She ended up losing an endorsement deal and hosting gigs, and her comedy tour was canceled. She says that the post ended up costing her her job, money, and many close friendships. Will Smith is known as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and as a leading man for the action films Bad Boys, Men in Black, and Independence Day. At the 2022 Oscars, he was nominated for a role in King Richard, which he was predicted to win. But then, when Best Documentary Feature presenter Chris Rock told a joke at the expense of his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith laughed it off, and then, very quickly, he became very angry. A second later, Smith marched up to the stage and violently slapped Rock. He even kept the confrontation going from his seat by yelling at Chris Rock. Smith was never kicked out of the award show and was even allowed to accept the Oscar he won later. The next day, he apologized to Chris Rock in an Instagram post and then received a 10-year ban on attending the Academy Awards. They ended up delaying the release of his next completed movie, Emancipation, and the Bad Boys sequel, which was announced in 2020, didn't enter production until 2023. Although he has attempted to repair his image, most moviegoers have a very different view of him now, and another Will Smith movie may not deliver at the box office the way his past projects have. Juliana Rancic was the E-correspondent for every major award show on the red carpet, the co-anchor of E! News, and host of the channel's Fashion Police. While filming a 2015 episode of Fashion Police, she commented about dreadlocked Zendaya, who up to this point was a popular Disney actress and teen singer. She said that Zendaya smelled of patchouli oil and weed, which caught many off guard, and with some responding the statement was racist. Zendaya herself fired back with a lengthy response on Instagram, calling the remarks ignorant slurs. Rancic then issued an apology saying, "Something I said last night did cross the line, and I didn't intend to hurt anybody. But I've learned it's not my intent that matters, it's the result." That same year, she stepped down as host of E! News, and later left Fashion Police, removing herself from the spotlight altogether. Thomas Gibson is known for his successful 5 seasons on the sitcom Dharma and Greg during the 1990s. After that, he had a role on Criminal Minds as Special Agent Aaron Hotchner for 11 years. But in season 12, Gibson was suspended from Criminal Minds due to an on-set physical altercation with one of the writers. It got so intense that he kicked the writer in the shin. After his suspension, he made a public statement of regret, explaining the argument was based on creative differences surrounding an episode he was directing. But his past came back to haunt him, with another incident coming to light, where he pushed a crew member on set in 2010 and was forced into an anger management program. So to avoid controversy, CBS decided to terminate him altogether. Since his firing in 2016, Thomas Gibson has barely worked. Jennifer Grey is known for her starring roles in the 1980s movies Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Dirty Dancing. She was highly recognizable, mainly for her nose, but as her career slowed down a bit in the early 1990s, she consulted her mother and 3 plastic surgeons. Grey underwent 2 rhinoplasty surgeries to fine-tune her nose. The second surgery was meant to correct the first, but it left her nose looking much different. She left the operating table with a smaller nose that left her unrecognizable, which made casting her even more difficult. She said it was the nose job from hell, and that nobody recognized her as Jennifer Grey anymore. Since then, it's been like starting her career over, but instead of starring in big movies, she gets bit guest roles on TV shows. Danny Masterson has been acting since he was a child, and he is best known for that 70s show and the Netflix series The Ranch. He made headlines in 2017 when he was first accused of sexual assault, with 4 women claiming that he forced himself on them in the early 2000s. A 5th woman came forward claiming that while she was dating the actor, he did the same thing to her. As a result of the allegations, Netflix fired him from The Ranch. Some of the accusers alleged that the Church of Scientology, which Masterson was a member of, suppressed them from reporting the actor. Masterson eventually would be charged and found guilty of the crimes, and was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. Ellen DeGeneres is best known for being a comedian, an actress, and most notably for hosting 19 seasons of her talk show, The Ellen DeGeneres Show. The show ended each episode with Ellen saying, "Be kind to each other." But a single tweet in 2020 from Kevin T. Porter announced that Ellen's Hollywood image was a lie. Porter said that commonly in LA, people who work in the industry know a not very nice story about Ellen. The tales of her less than kind behind-the-scenes behavior and horror stories about what it's like to work for her show only grew in the following weeks. She then announced in May of 2021 that she was bringing her daytime talk show to an end after nearly 2 decades. The announcement was made after Warner Media conducted an investigation into her employees' allegations of racism, sexual misconduct, and intimidation from higher-ups. But the host publicly dismissed suspicions that the accusations played a part in her decision to end the show. More recently, she has resorted back to stand-up comedy and has admitted that she was essentially kicked out of show business because of the allegations. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and please consider subscribing and sharing Recollection Road Entertainment with someone you know. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching this playlist. As always, thank you so much for watching.